data cleaning and transformation with Excel operators.
So welcome to today's class. It is data analytics in Microsoft Excel, and this is the section 2 of the class. Please, as we progress, if you have any question, you can ask by raising your hand. I can call your attention to unmute, or you type on our chat box. I will respond to your question. I believe today you're going to have a lot of questions to ask me, because we are going to visit a lot of Excel techniques, exciting things that even some good Excel users might have not taken good note of. I'd like you to just pay good attention and remember, normal, after the lecture, I will upload the video on our YouTube channel and send the link to you. Try and like, try and subscribe, and also make sure you replay it, make note, and you will get more insight in what we're dealing with. Today we are dealing with the section 2 of our class, data analytics in Excel. So what are we learning today? Today we are going to be dealing with Excel operators, how to perform data cleaning, data transformation using Microsoft Excel. Okay. Pastor Joe, you're welcome. So the class is on. Just join us and let's proceed. Okay, so how to perform data cleaning, or you can call it data cleansing. Some people or some authors will call it data wrangling, and then data transformation in Microsoft Excel or using Microsoft Excel. Now, this is one key area in data analysis. You get the data before you begin to perform any analysis with the data. You first of all perform a cleaning on the data. You tidy up the data. I don't want us to begin to use big grammar here now. You simply tidy up the data. You put the data in order. Some of the data sets might have been collected by amateurs, people who do not know what it means to normalize a data set. So if such data is given to you for analysis, the first thing you do is to go through the data and make sure that the data is clean. At times when we talk about data cleaning or data wrangling or data transformation, some persons think is something that is far-fetched. It is not. The same way you put your environment in order before you start cooking, the same way you wash your plates and you clean your utensils and tidy up your environment before you embark on any major cooking in the kitchen. That same way also, data analysis is just like somebody who is cooking. Before you begin to cook, you have to make sure that all the ingredients you want to use to cook are in order. And one of the ways you do that is by making sure the data is clean. Now, today, we might not embark so much on deep data cleaning, but I want to bring out most of the tools that are used in data cleaning. When we talk about data cleaning, we're talking about involving certain tools and using them to put our data set in order. We still have a lot of things to talk about, but for now, let's begin in this way. So the first thing we're going to look at is Excel operators. Excel operators. Excel operators are symbols that specify the type of calculation or comparison you want to perform in a formula. There are certain symbols that when you see them, they define the kind of calculation or comparison that somebody wants to make. Let me give you an example now. If you see the plus sign, you know the person wants to perform addition. If you see the minus sign, you know the person wants to perform subtraction. So that's exactly how it is. All these are the Excel operators. So let's look at what are the Excel operators. Now, the Excel operators can be divided into different segments. The first segment is the arithmetic operators. The little mathematics we did in primary school is all we need in Excel, like I've always said. Nothing amongst all we're going to look at now is strange, but it's just the application of them. We have addition, we have subtraction, we have multiplication, we have division, we have exponential, and then we have percentage. Now, to further explain them one after the other, I'd like us to illustrate, because I want to carry everybody along and I want you to get these things well. Foundation is very important. When the foundation is gotten right, then you realize that the rest of the things will fall in place. That is the reason why I am taking time to lay this foundation. It might look like we are wasting time, but by the time we move on, you will see some applications we're going to carry out now, and it will shock you how powerful foundation can be. Now, let's just have a little illustration. Now, I'd like us to illustrate something very briefly now. Now, I'd like to open my Excel sheet quickly. And when I open my Excel sheet, can you see my Excel sheet? If you can see my Excel sheet, I'd like you to respond, I can see it. Because I want to make sure the screen is clear. Can you see my Excel sheet? Can I have somebody respond? Okay. Yes, I can see the Excel sheet. Okay, so let's go ahead. Please, once we begin to lose you, let me know. Okay. Okay, I will zoom it up. That's no problem. When I begin to type, I will zoom it up. It's okay. All right, so let's go. Let's go. Now, I'd like us to illustrate one or two things now. Remember, we're talking about the arithmetic operators, like I showed you on the screen. One, I'd like to zoom a little bit. Now, remember that in Excel, to perform any form of mathematical operation, the first thing you do is you put an equal to sign. Please, this is the language Excel understand. If you don't put equal to, Excel will not know you want to perform calculation. That is the number 3 type of data entry. Remember, in our previous class, we treated 3 types of data entry in Excel. We said the first one is label. That is when you enter alphabets, like names. Then the second one is values. That is when you enter numbers. Then the third one is formula. That's when you enter formula. Okay. Now, when we want to perform any calculation in Excel, you put an equal to sign. Then I want to carry out an arithmetic operator, addition. I put an equal to, I can say 3 plus 7. Once I hit enter, the result will be 10. Again, I can delete this if I have a value 12 here and I have a value 34 here, and I want to add the two of them. I can say equal to 12 plus 34, and I hit enter, and that gives me 46. Alternatively, remember in our last class, alternatively, I can say equal to, instead of saying 12, I will use the cell address. We called it in our previous class, we called it something, relative cell referencing. A situation where you don't refer to the value, but you refer to the cell address. So in this case, I will say A1 plus B1. Remember, in naming a cell, you put the column letter first before the row number. So you say A1, not 1A. And when you hit enter, you get 46, the same result. But then, which of the methods is better? Is it the first one where we said equal to 12 plus 34? Or the second one where we said equal to A1 plus B1? Let's find out. Assuming this score A1 is not 12, but 22. So let's assume there was an error. So I change it to 22. If I hit enter, you will notice that this one where we used relative cell referencing updated, but this didn't update. It therefore means that professionally it is most recommended that you make use of relative cell referencing. The same thing is applicable when we want to perform subtraction. I can say equal to 7 minus 3. And once I hit enter, Excel will give me 4. In the same way, I may decide to perform 32 minus 34 minus 22. That your insertion point can be anywhere. It doesn't matter where it is. So if I can put my insertion point in D4 now, D4, and I can say equal to 34. But instead of saying 34, I think I better say B1 minus A1. And once I hit enter, I will get the result. So whenever any of these values is updated, like instead of 22 and it becomes 45, once you hit enter, you will notice that this value changes and this one changes. That's very important to note that. So let's go ahead. That's about that. So let's talk about division. Division. When you want to perform a division operator, I want to have a cell A1. For instance, I have a cell A1 names of students, and I have the score in biology. I have a score in English. I have a score in Igbo, and I have a score in mathematics. Then let me assume I have 3 students. Ikenna, then I have Uche, and they scored the following in the exam. These are the various scores. and have, sorry, this is Uche, and these are the various scores marked over 100. These are the various scores. Then in mathematics, these are the scores. I believe if you went through our first lecture, this will be very easy for you. Okay, I want to get their total score. Total score. And I want to get their average score. Average score. That's a normal result computation. Their total score and their average score. Now, I know there are other functions that can make these things easy for us, but we've not yet entered into functions. So you make use of what you have to get what you want. So let's just exercise patience until we get to functions. But for now, we know the addition, we know the subtraction, and we know the division. Let's see how we can get. If I want to get the sum, I'll say equal to B2 plus C2 plus D2 plus E2. And once I hit enter, I get the total score. And I use the autofill handle. Look at the autofill handle. Once you if you look at this result, the 200 we've just gotten now, at the down right corner of this cell, you see something that looks like a broken rectangle, dot. That is autofill. Once you double click, once you point the cursor on it, it turns to a cross. And once you double click on it, it fills the rest of the result. That's amazing. Then let's get the average. That simple average you know from normal primary school. How do we get the average? The average is the total score divided by the number of subjects. So it's just like if you want to perform division, you can say equal to 4 divided by, if you look at your keyboard, you will see a division sign. Exactly is the backward slash. The backward slash that is below the question mark. If your keyboard is normal, the backward slash usually below the question mark at the down right corner. That is the division. That is the division sign. So 4 divided by 3. Once you hit enter, will give you this. Therefore, if we want to get the average will be equal to 200, which is F2 backward slash, that is divided by the number of subjects that were offered. They offered 1, 2, 3, 4 subjects. That's also the same way you calculate your mean, divided by 4, and you hit enter, and that is an average of 50. And you double click the autofill to get the average of the rest. That is how simple that can be. Oh, somebody is lost. Are you just joining now? Okay. Which part? What's the question? Can we have the question? What is the confusion there? What is the confusion there? Because we need to carry you along as quick as possible. How many of us are following me? If you're following me, can you tell me I'm following? Can you type I'm following on the chat box? If you're not following, please tell me I'm not following and let me know where you have the problem quickly. Let me know where you have your problem. Yes. Okay. All right. I'm following. Okay. So if you are not following, let me know where you have the problem quickly. Let's take you up immediately. Yes. Okay. Somebody said, please, will the forward slash do division too? No, the forward slash will not do division. Excel only understands the backward slash to do division. The forward slash does not. So well, another question, yes, who is not following? If you're not following, okay, please, sir, I have issue logging in. Can you help me? Okay, what is the problem exactly? Let me know where you have a problem. We can help you and carry you along. Otherwise, you might need to calm down and follow us. We are still beginning, and you will still have the video to replay again too. But then, if you can ask your question, we'll answer it immediately. Please, addition, okay? Yes, I just logged in now and I'm lost. Okay, what you will do is just listen very well. Please repeat the average calculation, Jasper. Okay, I will repeat that again. Listen again. We've not gone far. It's very simple. Don't forget that, first of all, these are the scores of 3 students. Don't forget we are just taking these few students, but we need to know that in the real sense of it, you might be dealing with huge amount of data. So this is the total. Let's get the total for these people. Remember, I said that there are other faster functions that can give us this, but we are learning Excel operators. So let's not just jump in because we're not trying to excite anybody. These foundations are very important because they will form the building block of what we are doing. Now, somebody said, please, should the number of series be the denominator? If you understand the simple, okay, just listen again, you will follow me. This is our total, and I want to get the total. Remember, we are using Excel operators. We've not yet entered Excel functions. Excel operators equal to B2 plus C2 plus D2 plus E2. Remember, if you didn't replay or if you didn't join the first section, you might have some little challenges following. But I always recommend that go back to the first one, replay it again, make note, understand it first, because what we will keep doing will be like placing new blocks on previous ones done. And if you didn't understand the foundation, then it becomes an issue. But we want to carry everybody along. So try to always check the link, play it, value what we're doing, and you follow. So hit enter. This is the storm. And I double click on the autofill handle. This is the autofill handle. This dot here now that you can see a dot here. That is the autofill. If I double click on it, or I click and drag it, anyone you want, it gives me the total. Then we are talking about the average now. Ordinarily, you know that average of some set of numbers is the sum divided by the number of numbers. That is, I illustrated simply that to do division, if I want to say equal to, I can say 6 divided by 4. That division sign in Excel on your keyboard is this backward slash. That is the division sign. Look down, you will see it directly below the question mark on your keyboard. If your keyboard is a standard keyboard, then once you hit enter, it simply divides it. The same way also, when you have these numbers, this you can wrote four subjects, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the total of 200 to get its average, which is what we call in statistics mean. Mean is simply the sum of all the numbers over the number of subjects. He offered 4 subjects. So simple mathematics teaches us that to get the average, we put equal to 2, which is the total, divided by the number of subjects he offered, which is 4. That's just a simple technique there. It's as simple as eating your noodle soup. You see, Excel is very simple. Believe you me, I've gone through Excel and it's exciting. I've worked with it at different levels and it's exciting. The only thing you need is pay attention, practice it, practice it. Don't ever trust your brain. I don't trust my brain when I'm reading. I must write down. And when I write down, I remember easily. I read over and over again and it sinks in. That's exactly the way. But if you think you can just come to the lecture and believe you've known it, it doesn't work that way. I've taught Excel for about 25 years. Over 25 years, I've taught Excel. I compiled my first book on Excel 2007, and I know what I'm talking about. So what you will do is just follow me, and before you know it, there's nothing you cannot do using Excel. So once you hit enter, we'll get the average. Now, look at this. If I click on this result and look at the formula bar, you will also notice that on the formula bar, you will see equal to F2 over 4. That's the result. Otherwise, you double click on this result also, you will see the result, the formula appearing again. So hit enter. Then I want to get the result for the rest of them. I double click on this, and eventually I get this. That's so amazing. I hope I've carried you along. If you're following now, please can you type on the chat box and follow you now. I don't want to leave you behind, so we can move on. I believe we're following now. That's quite amazing. Okay, so if we're following, let's take this exercise to buttress our point. Okay. Thank God. So let's look at this exercise now. That will drive home the point further. Okay, it's all right. Welcome. So just go ahead and follow what we're doing now. So the next thing we will look at now is, let's take one or two exercises on that, and that will help us to follow more. Look at this. Let me go to this addition now. Let me go to this. Now look at this. Look at this particular data set. This is a sales figure for December 2020. And you can see the salespersons, H. James, K. Dun, and the rest of them. And you will see their returns. First week, this is the first week returns. The second week, that's the revenue for second week at the individual level. The third week and the fourth week. So at the end of the fourth week, we need to get the total. Now, how do we get the total? Very simple. Equal to, we say, B5 plus C5 plus B5 plus E5. And once you hit enter, it gives us the total. I believe you can see it clearer now. So that's the total. That's also amazing. Yes, okay. That's okay. I'm happy you're following. Okay, you need to know how to get the total. I'm repeating it again. That's how to get the total. Remember, we are still dealing with Excel operators. We've not come to functions yet. Functions can do it much faster, but let's lay foundations first. So having seen the total here, I can use the autofill handle to get the rest of them. And that is the rest. So you can see the total. What about if you want to know the total? Now what we've just got is the total for James, total for each individual salesperson. Let's go ahead and get the total for each week. What is the total income each week for the company? The same way also, you put equal to sign. This time around, you have B5 plus B6 plus B7 plus B8 and plus B9. Then hit enter. So you can sum this way. If you want, you can sum this way. It depends on what you intend to achieve. When you sum this way, you are just achieved the total amount of money realized by each salesperson. But when you sum this way, you just total amount of money realized each week. So I can come here and place my cursor on the auto fill handle, click on it, and drag horizontally to get the total. And eventually I have the overall total also. That is quite amazing. I believe that's simple enough. So let's go to the next operator, which is multiplication. 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 If you want to multiply, look at this now. If I have to multiply two things, I put my equal to sign, and I can say 5 multiplied by, the multiplication sign is the asterisk sign. Look at your keyboard, you will see the asterisk sign. If you have a normal keyboard, is exactly above 8, the number 8, asterisk. 5 multiplied by 6, and once you hit enter, you see the result, 30. 5, and if you click on the result, you will see the formula bar, pi equal to 5 multiplied by 6. Okay, let's look at this. Look at this. If you look at this data set now, please pay attention to this data set. We have the products, we have the quantity sold, we have the purchase price, that is the cost price, and we have the sell price, that is the selling price. This is the purchase price, the selling price, and I want us to get the total cost, get the total sell, and get the profits. I believe that's a simple challenge for some of us, but let's just go in quickly and look at it. Let me repeat again. This is a data set, okay? Please, can you zoom the screen? Okay. All right. I believe it's well zoomed now, that you can see it better now. All right. So from what you can see now, I said that we have a product. These are our company products, and these are the quantities that were sold. Sandals were sold 3 pieces, and the purchase price is 22. It can be $22. It can be Are we still there? Okay. You can see that the money symbol is not there. Since you cannot see the money symbol there, we can choose to add it. Let's begin by adding that first. Are you with me? If you can hear me, say I can hear you. I want to add the money symbol. Possibly we might decide to use dollar, but I want us to format it. That's a part of the data cleaning. You look at this data set, it's not, we don't know if this is 22 naira or $22. And I want us to make it, okay. So I want us to make it $22. Let's begin from there. So what we will simply do is, first, this column of the purchased price, if I want to highlight the entire column C, I will click on the column letter. I will click on the column letter. Did you notice that whenever you click on the column letter, the entire column is highlighted? Remember we said that when you click on the row number, the entire row is highlighted. So I want everything that appears, every number that appears on this column C to be formatted as dollar. I just simply click on this. I can go ahead and click on dollar here. Look at the dollar symbol here. Or I can click on any of this. I click on this alignment setting. If I from the home tab, I go to alignment setting, then I can come to the number tab, then go to currency. If I go to currency, I will see the symbol of dollar, and you can scroll down to see other symbols. If you move down, you will see naira somewhere. Naira, you can see naira there also. But I want to use dollar because it's the default for now. I select dollar and take note. I want to apply 2 decimal places to it. So I will allow 2 decimal places. I can increase the number of decimal by clicking on the upper arrow or the lower arrow to reduce it. But I want to make it 2 decimal places. And once I click OK, dollar sign will automatically appear. So I have $22 now. Who understood what I did? Can you say, I understood what you did? Or on the chat box, tell me, I got it. Before I continue. If you didn't get it, okay. Who didn't get it? Let me repeat it again. I'll do it with this one now. I want to format, this is exactly what we call data cleaning. I want to format this column. I want to format this column. And what I do simply is to click on the column letter. I didn't click on just the header. Column letter. This column letter D, I click on it. The entire column gets highlighted. And once it gets highlighted, I simply can come to my dollar sign here, or I always like going to home, click on this button here, alignment setting. Once I click on it, the same thing also, if I choose, I can choose this also, number format. The same thing here also. Any of these icons here can take you down there. You now go to number. Under number, you go to currency and you select the currency you want. Dollars, the dollar symbol is there by default. And by default, it has 2 decimal places already. So I want to go with it. And I click OK. Automatically, my sales price has been formatted as dollar, and 2 decimal places has been added to it also. If that is clear, then we can go ahead and get the total cost. What is the total cost? Simple mathematics. Remember, this is the purchased price. This is the selling price. Total cost should simply be quantity multiplied by purchase price. Quantity multiplied by purchase price. Something is sold $22. A company went to the market to make some procurement, and the cost price per one is $22, and they bought 3. So what will be the total cost? It will simply be equal to quantity, which is B3, multiplied by, remember, asterisk, multiplied by C3. And once you hit enter, that gives us $66. And once you double click on the autofill, you get the rest of them. That's quite amazing. You can see how huge this data is. But I've just, in a twinkling of an eye, just a movement. Is that not amazing? Can somebody say amazing if you're following? That's amazing. Let's go ahead. So what about the total sale? Oh, beautiful. That shows you're following. Okay. This is total sale. Remember, the company bought this $22 and they sold $42, which means that by the time they finish selling this tray, the total sale will be equal to the three they bought multiplied by the amount they sold it, and that is $126. Then, having seen this, I can now double click on this to get the rest. So what will be the profit? What will be the profit? Can somebody tell me what the profit will most likely be? Yes? What will be the profit? Yes, I want somebody to respond. How do we get the profit? How do we get the profit? Somebody, just one or two persons. Okay, equal to F3 minus E3. That's okay. Okay, selling price minus cost price. That's beautiful. You're following me. So we're going to have equal to total sale minus total cost. And once I hit the enter key, I will get $60. That's quite a big gain. And I will click on this to get the total. That's quite amazing. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. Is that not exciting? That is very, very exciting. That's about the division. I want us to quickly go ahead and deal with the percentage. Very important. Percentage. I will explain something about the percentage before we go ahead, because we're heading to somewhere. Percentage. Now, if you want to deal with percentage, for example, if you type equal to 50, equal to 50, and if you look at your keyboard, directly on top of 5, you will see the percentage sign, equal to 50%. Once you hit enter, Excel will tell you is 0.5. Remember that 50% is also equal to 50 over 100. 50% in mathematics means 50 over 100. So you can also say equal to 30%. Hit enter. But if I want to apply it here, I can say equal to 30, and I want to apply the percentage here. I can now go ahead and put percentage, but I'm going to do that later. Just what I'll bring it. So when you say equal to 50%, it just reduces the bet. This is different from when you say 50%. When you type 50%, you are getting a different result. Remember, this is not the same as this. The difference is that Excel considered the first one as calculation because you applied equal to sign. But Excel considered the second one as just a data entry, 50% as a data entry. So please understand the difference between that. And the last one there is the percentage, the exponential. Exponential is as good as when you want to say raise in power. For instance, is equal to 2 exponential 2. If you look at your keyboard, directly on the number part, those numbers at the top, you will see directly on top of 6, you see something that looks like rectangle looking down. Something like rectangle looking down. That's the exponential sign. Exponential means raised to the power of. If you say 2 exponential 2, it means you're talking about 2 raised to the power of 2, which is 2 times 2. That's 4. If I say equal to 2 exponential 3, I mean 2 raised to the power of 3, which is 2 times 3, which is 2 times 2 times 2, which will give us, no, this page has been formatted as equal to, that's what this, equal to 2 exponential 3. That is giving us 8. So that is exactly how to work with exponential. And if that is clearly understood, then we will have to go a little further to lecture again to see more about what that is. So we've just dealt with the first Excel operators, which is the arithmetic operators. The next will be the comparison operators. We might not have much to illustrate here. Already, we're going to go into that fully. The comparison operators are operators, okay? Are operators, okay? Does Excel, somebody is asking a question, does Excel understand real-time currency conversion? What if my dollar in naira, YTC, while is in dollars? We're going to come to this. I will explain this. There's more to what Excel can do. Maybe as we progress, this your question will be answered. There are so many questions I know some of them I want to ask now, but as we move on, we'll answer them. I will answer them. Some of them are already embedded in the class, so just let's watch. So the comparison operator, the comparison operators are operators that are used to compare two values, and the result is usually true or false. You can just like you can say equal to A1 equal to B1. Let me illustrate this in Excel so that you can understand more of the comparison operators. Now look at this. If I have 4 here and I have 7 here. Now, if I want to use the comparison operators, I can say equal to A1 equal to B1. You're actually asking a question in Excel. You can see it's false. You're asking the Excel, is A1 equal to B1? That's exactly what comparison operators do. We will use this as we move on. That's why you need to understand it. Don't overlook any simple thing we're saying here now. Assuming we have 4 here, okay. Let me remove this column entirely. Okay, this row. We have 4 here, and we also have 4 here. And I give that same command equal to A2 equal to B2. That is true. So you can see if the comparison operator the equal to sign compares the two of them to know if they are equal, and it returns either true or false for you. Then you can go ahead to see other ones, like you have the greater than. Let's look at this. Let's look at this now. Okay, let's delete this column. Right click and delete this column. Then let's look at greater than. I can say equal to A1 greater than. You can look at, you see your greater than. That, if you look down on your keyboard, you see your greater than and you see your less than. Greater than B1. Of course, the answer you know is false. But what if I re-edit it and say I use less than? The answer will be true now. So that is how the comparison operators work. Other comparison operators are the greater than or equal to. Like you look at them here, we have the greater than or equal to, we have the less than or equal to. You can try them out, practice them, and you will see how they work. But we're going to carry out some projects using them quickly. Then the next one there should be, the next thing we're going to look at now is the text concatenation operators. There are some operators we call the text concatenation. To concatenate means to join. This operator is used to combine text from different cells or strings. This operator is used to combine text from different cells or strings. They are of two types. We have the concatenation, and you can see the sign there, ampersand, and we have the concatenation with space. Let us briefly illustrate this. That will help us to understand what we are talking about. Now, let's go to this. Now, look at this data set. Look at this data set now. Look at it very well. This is employee ID. This is first name. This is last name. And this is full name. In some kind of analysis, when you are performing some kind of analysis, please take note. It will be required that you make use of the full name, because you will not be analyzing with only one surname. That will be very bad. So the full name will be needed. And you cannot say, okay, we have Al Sabah Daud. And you can now say, okay, let me type it. And you begin to type it. That would be very ridiculous. You say, you just type it. That will be a waste of time. What about if you have 10,000 data sets, 10,000 rows, or 10,000 entries? How will you do it? You can use the command, the concatenate, to concatenate it. How do we do that now? Watch what will happen now. If I want to concatenate these two columns to get the full name or the complete name, I put equal to sign, and I will say B2 concatenate. That's the ampersand. Did you see the ampersand? This. And when I hit enter, you will notice that the two names have been joined. Did you see two of them? Who saw it? But there's a problem there. Let me know who will dictate the problem. If you're following me, say you're following. But then, if you dictated the problem there, can you tell me what the problem is now? There's a problem there. Let me see how many people will get it quickly. Yes, you're following. No space. Beautiful. 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 How do we solve that no space problem? How do we solve that no space problem? Okay, watch now. Let's solve the problem now. Let's solve the problem. You must be very, very attentive. Okay, beautiful. But no space. That's good. That's good. That's good. I'm happy you're following me. Now look at what happens now. Okay, to solve the space problem, I say equal to B2. Now, I'm going to concatenate space into it now. In Excel, if you want to concatenate space into it, you open an inverted comma, punch the space bar, close the inverted comma, and of course, what we should have done here is, because we are trying to concatenate, I am concatenating the space now with this. What I simply did is to place an inverted comma between them. B2 concatenate space. In Excel, to put space, you open an inverted comma, hit the space bar, and close the inverted comma, and then put the concatenate sign and put the last cell. Once you hit enter, you will notice the space is there. How many of us can see the space? Then I can double click on this to get the rest. How many of us can see what happened there? Say, I can see. If you can't understand, if you don't understand, say, I don't understand. Yes? Okay? All right. So that's okay. Can I have some witnesses more in the house before we continue? Okay, okay, yes. I'm happy you can see it and I'm happy you can understand it also. Okay, okay. Beautiful, beautiful. I, I think you should, you can see we are, okay, that's amazing, my brother. That's amazing. It's quite amazing. Yes, that you can see, okay, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. We have quite a lot to do within a short time. So that's a simple concatenation. So what we've just done now is data transformation. We've just transformed this. You will see how some of these things will play a very, very big role when we begin to work in Excel. Now, let's continue with our studies as we move on now. The next one we're going to look at is we're going to look at the logical operators. The logical operators. That is the logical operators. We're going to see more about these logical operators later, but I want to say something about them. They are used in logical formulas to return true or false based on one or more conditions. I'm going to talk about it as we move on now. But the logical operators are, you see the and, or, not, and we have other operators like union. And then another important thing for you to note is that operators can be combined. Operators can be combined. And that follows an order of BODMAS and PENDAS. The order of BODMAS and PENDAS. What do we mean by that? Let me explain this briefly. Let me explain this so you can follow this now. Now, look at this. Assuming I have this, I can say equal to 3 plus 5 minus 8 multiplied by 7 divided by 2 exponential 6. I've just combined 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 operators. Do you think you can confuse Excel? No, you can't confuse Excel either. Okay, somebody say, please, does this apply to Ali? I can't read you. Maybe you are. Okay, then maybe you are, make the question clearer. Or we'll come to that also. Okay, please, does this apply to values? How do you mean by if it applies to values, please? I don't understand. Maybe you make your question clearer. I'll attend to it as we go on. Okay. Okay. If it applies to values, how do you mean by if it applies to values? What do you mean by if it applies to values? Oh, we are dealing with values now. These are values we're dealing with. So what exactly are you referring to? Maybe you make your question clearer as we move on. So you have equal to 3 plus 5 minus 8 multiplied by 7 divided by 2 exponential 6. Excel will simply follow the normal BODMAS. It treats it bracket first of division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. And once you hit enter, it will surely give you the right result following the BODMAS method. That's more of combining operators. Excel combines operators. We're going to see that more when we begin to carry out some projects. I think that is very simple. And we've looked at this project on addition, and we've looked at this one. Okay, let's look at this. Let's look at this now. Let's look at this. Let's take this as a simple exercise. I will send this data set to you at the end of this lesson. I will send you the link to these data sets So you can use it to practice. I'll send the link to this data set to you. You can use it to practice also. And I will give some exercise too that you can use to try out what you're doing. Now, this is salespersons, and we have products, we have units, and we have price per unit, and then we have total sales. So we want to get, okay, so please repeat the example with 5 operators. Okay, I'll come back to that. It's just as simple as that. No matter it can be any number of operators. If it's just about equal to 3, you can say plus 6 multiplied by 2 exponential 8. You can say divided by 9. If you are asked to solve this mathematics, actually, some people might be tempted to do 3 plus 6, 9. 9 multiplied by 2, 18. 18 exponential 8 divided by 9. That's not it. These are simple mathematics. For those of you that studied with Lacombe's, simple BODMAS. It follows the BODMAS pattern. Just type it. Excel will just calculate it. You don't need to bother yourself. Once you hit enter, Excel will give you the results. Excel will give you the results equal to 3 plus 9 minus 8 exponential 2, 3, and the rest of them. Once you hit enter, it gives you the result. It just gives you the result. Excel cannot be wrong. It just follows the BODMAS. The reason why I brought up this is to tell you that when you have multiple operators combined in one formula, Excel uses BODMAS. That's just what I'm. Please kindly repeat that of combination of names. Can you do same for values? Okay, for numbers. Okay, for numbers. Numbers. Yes, but you cannot use concatenate. Concatenate is more or less with text. But what I will tell you what happens to numbers also when we come to it. But since you asked me to repeat that of concatenate, let me check for another example again on concatenate, and maybe we will be able to concatenate again. Let me see. Okay, I think I have another concatenate here. All right. Look at this now. Look at this. Let me take another example again. Or possibly I use the previous one so that we can use this second one for a better explanation. Let me go to the first one. I'm searching for it. Okay, look at it there. All right. Okay, look at this. Let me delete this. It's gone. All right. So I want to combine these two names. And I want to put space. Very simple. Equal to, I put the first cell, B2, which is this first name. Remember, I want to concatenate them with the mind that space will be there. Space is also addressed as a character. So to do that, I'll put the concatenate sign. I will first of all concatenate with space. So, and in Excel, there are certain things you have to take religiously. In Excel, to put space between two names, you open the inverted comma. I just open the inverted comma first. Then I will hit the enter key. I will hit the space bar to give space before I close the asterisk sign. So before I close the inverted comma, this is the inverted comma open and close, but there's a space. I didn't join it. I will show you the side effects when it is joined. Now I cannot put the concatenate sign again, and I put this. So I'm joining this two. I'm joining this two, but look at the pattern here. You can see the pattern here. Now, the pattern is B2 ampersand asterisk space asterisk, sorry, space. That's a inverted comma. Then you have the ampersand and C2. Don't cram it, simply understand it. And once you hit enter, it combines it. Then I double click here to get all of them. Then I believe that's clearer now. That should be clearer now. That's very simple now. We can go on. Like I was trying to work with, I brought up an exercise on, I brought an exercise on multiplication. Okay, look at this. We have salespersons. Now, listen and okay, it's clearer now. Okay, thank God. Now, I want to bring in something new here now. Look at this now. This is a data set collected over a period. We have salespersons column here. We have the products, and we have the units that are sold, and have the unit price. Katapan is a salesperson. He sold chocolate chip. Okay, that's clearer now. But sorry, what is the average sign in Excel? I think I'm lost there. The average sign in Excel. Remember, I told you we are still dealing with operators. When we come to functions, we have the average function. Don't be in a hurry because you might have been used to the average function. But before we begin to deal with the average function, we must deal with the simple average. The average is in Excel, we use what I want to call the average function. We will come to that. But we simply use our simple knowledge of calculating mean to do that, get the average. Because if you offer 4 subjects and you get the total, the average should be the total over the number of subjects. That is simple mathematics we've just done. We've not actually handled the average function. We are coming to it. Just give me more 5 minutes and you will see us there. So don't be in Excel, the average function remains the average function, but we've not come to the functions. I hope I'm clear. I hope that's clear. So just give me more few minutes and we'll get there. But let's just solve this problem now. So you see, Katapan sold chocolate chip, and he sold 99 units, and this is the amount. Then he sold again this product, and this is the quantity, and each of them is this amount. Now, what I want us to do is to get the total sales for each transaction. From what you can see that the first sales person has performed about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 transactions because it is sorted by salespersons. Now, how do we get the total sales? Very simple. Equal to units multiplied by price per unit. Hit enter. That is the total it got here. And double click the auto fill handle. We'll get the rest. So that's as simple as that. You can now see that each transaction has the total now. Each transaction has the total now. What if I want to know the overall total? I will come to that when we begin to deal with the sum function. We are still in operators. Now, having seen that now, let me add one more thing before we go into operators or into functions quickly. let me add one more thing before we go into functions. Now look at this now. I have salesperson. I have product. What if I want to know how many salespersons? How many salespersons do we have here? How many salespersons? How many unique or distinct products do we have? One of the ways I get to know this is I can highlight this row. Mind you, if I want to highlight this row, I put my cursor on the first one. Watch, cursor on top of the first one. I click and hold it down, drag to highlight and stop somewhere here. Then what do? I go to Data tab and select Filter. Watch this now. I go to Data tab and select Filter. Once I click on Filter, you will notice that each column heading now has an arrow by the right down corner. That arrow you're seeing is called Filter. It's called Filter. If I want to remove the filter, I go back to Data again, go to Filter, click on it again, it goes. But why did I add it? If I click on it to add it now, once you click on this filter, you will notice that it will give me the distinct salespersons. From here now, I can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 salespersons available. That is so easy for me. That is one of the ways you can perform what we call exploratory data analysis, EDA. I'm going to cover that in more details. Who understood what I just did now? Can I have somebody respond and say I understood, or any confusion? I understood you. Please let me get your response. I understood you. Let me get, okay. I'm getting tired. Let me get a response also. Okay. All right. That's clear. That's okay. That's okay. I'm getting tired. Let me get a response. Or I'm confused. Let me get you response so that I can go ahead. Okay. Okay. Beautiful. So the same way, I can also know the distinct products. Distinct. Somebody said I should repeat that. Okay. Now, let me repeat it again. I want to remove the filter. Now, it has returned to normal again. I believe you can see me, can see it clearer now. I don't know how many distinct salespersons here, and I need to know it because I want to work with it. What do? All I simply did was to highlight this row. Row 1 is my header. Row 1 is my header. And to highlight the row, I place the cursor at the middle of the cell, hold down my mouse and drag towards the direction I want to highlight. The same thing is applicable. I can do the same thing here. On the 4th row, click here, drag it this way and highlight. So highlighting is very simple. So, but because I want to do this here, or even without highlighting it, Excel by default assumes that the first row is the header. Let me repeat this, very important. Excel by default, the Excel engine by default assumes that your first row is the header. So whether you highlight it or you click into any of the cells, once you come to data, click on it and go to filter and click on it. It presents filter arrows on each of the cells of the first row that it assumed to be the header. And when you click on any of the arrows, it will help you to know the distinct values there. You can see that now the distinct values are here. Or if I come to product, click on this arrow, I have a distinct product. Chocolate chip is 1. This is 2. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 distinct products. And I have about 7 distinct cells persons. Now, that will help me. Assuming I want to hide all of them and display only one salesperson, I will click on this, I will uncheck select all and click only on Catapan. Once I click OK, it will hide every other person and display only Catapan for me. And for you to know that it has been filtered, you look at this place, it will no longer be an arrow, it will be a filter to show that it was filtered. If I want to bring it out again, I click on this filter and I come back to click on this select all to select all of them again. If I want to uncheck three persons, 1, 2, 3 persons, I can uncheck them and click OK. Automatically they are out and I have these few persons here now. Let me restore them again. I restore them again. What if I want to see only one product? I click on this product and uncheck all of them and select the product I want and click OK. And that's only chocolate. It's a good exercise. Are we still following? Do we stop here for today? Are we taking enough? Can I get a response? Can I go ahead? Yes. Okay, you're following. Okay. Okay. Can we continue? Or you want us to stop here and continue some other time? Can we go into the Excel functions? You want us to go it, okay? But I get about 5 go ahead now. Move. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So let's go. I think we're following. So let me bring this out again. And I think that's a beautiful one. And with this, we will move into the next thing that we have for the day. And that is the Excel functions. I know some of us are waiting for me here. I know some of us, we know most of the Excel functions and I'm beginning to wonder, what is he saying? Is that how they calculate sum? Is that how they calculate average? Is that how they do some of these things? I know that's what my feeling. But now I think we're going to move on. Yes, the Excel functions. What are the Excel functions? I tell you, what functions cannot do in Excel does not exist. Functions are too powerful. And the more you know them, the more they can work for you. So let's go ahead and check out what we can do with functions. What are functions? What are Excel functions? Excel functions are simply predefined formula that perform specific calculations. Predefined, okay? Predefined, okay, let's continue. Predefined formulas that perform specific calculations using the values you input. These functions can be used for a wide range of tasks, including we have the mathematical calculations, we have the text manipulations, we have the date and time analysis, we have the logical tests, and more of them. I'd like us to look at a few of them in details, or a good number of them in details. The first one we're going to look at is, let's look at the mathematical and trigonometrical functions. Don't be afraid, we're not solving mathematics, but the truth is this: life is about mathematics. Everything we do, math is there. So let's go on and see. The first one we're going to look at is the one most of you have been waiting for, and that is the sum function. What is the sum function? Sum function is used to add up all the numbers in a range. Take note. Sum function is used to add up all the numbers in a range. The syntax is equal to sum. You open a bracket, you put the range of numbers, and this formula will eventually add the values from this cell A1 to cell A5 as the case may be. Now let's illustrate this and let's look at this clearer. Let's get some examples now. I think we'll have some examples we can some data set we can use. Okay, let's quickly come here. Now, we're going to look at the sum function. We're going to look at the average function. We're going to look at the minimum function, and we're going to look at the maximum function. But meanwhile, let me draw your attention to the fact that the average function calculates the average or the mean of a range of numbers. The syntax is equal to average, you put the range. Then you have the mean, which finds the smallest number in a range. The syntax is equal to mean, you put the range. Then you have the maximum, which finds the largest number in a range. And the syntax is equal to max, you put the range. So let's see this for practically using this example that we have here now. How many of us can see this example? If you can see this example, the sales figure here, tell me on the chat box that I can see it. So we continue. If you can see the sales figure December 2022, okay, you can see it. All right, so you can show now. Then let's go ahead. Now, first of all, let's look at the sum function. The sum function, like we said, is used to sum a range of numbers. You use it to sum a range of numbers. What do we call, what is that we call a range of numbers? Now look at this. This is a cell. This is another cell. This is another cell. This is another cell. This down here, down here, down here forms a range from cell B5 to cell E5 is a range of numbers, and I want to sum it. How do I sum it? Now, in Excel functions, one thing you must take note of is, number one, you don't need to cram the syntax, don't cram the formula. All you need to do is to remember the function name. Remember this function name. For every function you want to carry out, the only thing you need to do is to remember the function name. Excel will use what we call IntelliSense to remind you the rest. Watch what will happen now. I want to sum from this to this point. I will simply put equal to sign. To sum, you use the sum function. Equal to sum. Or maybe I have to, let me zoom the screen so that you can see it clearer. Okay. Equal to sum. Open brackets. Now, take note of this. This is where people say Excel is difficult. It is not. Just look at it closely. You will notice that all the functions I will write will follow a particular pattern. What is the pattern? I'll put equal to sign first. I will enter the function name, sum from the name, from the word summation as sum. I will open the brackets. Then you look below here. That's what we call IntelliSense. Excel tries to suggest to me what the formula could be. And I'll have to put the range. What is the range? B5. 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 Excel is too powerful that it will highlight the range once you get it accurately. Then you close the bracket. What are we trying to do? I'm trying to tell Excel to sum for me all the numbers that are within the range of B5 to E5. And when I close the bracket, look at this, B5 to illustrate to, you use colon. That is a reference. You use colon to. And once I hit enter, it gives me the sum. That should be very simple. Let me repeat it again. I delete this. Equal to sum, bracket opens, B5, B5 colon E5, E5. Close the bracket and hit enter. Then the rest of them, I can get by autofill, and that gives me the answer. What if I want to try another style? Okay, let's try another method, but then still governed by the sum function. I say equal to sum. As soon as I open my bracket, you go to your formula bar, you will see fx. We'll call it the insert function. Look at it here, insert function. But remember, I've typed equal to sum and opened brackets. Then I go to this insert function. Once I click on it, it opens this dialog box for me, asking me to put the first number. I can click on this, the first one, hold it down and drag to the last one. That's the same B5 to E5. And as I click OK, it still gives me the sum. And I can use the autofill handle to draw the rest and get it. I know somebody will want to know some other way it can be done. Okay, let me excite you a little bit. I can decide to highlight from the first cell. I want to sum down here, and I have this column highlighted. Once I go to the formula bar, I will see the auto sum. I click on it, it will give me the all at a time. The same thing also, I highlight the whole of this, I come down here, I highlight down, I want to get the weekly total, go to auto sum, click on it, it gives me weekly total. Is that understood? Can I have responses from the house? Reactions, please. Are we running too fast? Reactions, please. Okay, understood. Beautiful. I didn't understand. Please show up. So let's know where you're missing it. We're still coming up gradually, laying block upon block. Yes. Can I have some more people respond? I want to make sure people are following me. Otherwise, I'm simply taking a walk. I want to go with people. So let's, okay. All right. So let's go. That's about the sum function. I believe the sum function is very simple. So let's go to average function. Somebody asked me about the average function before now. Let's look at the average function. Now, we want to get the average of the following week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. What's the average? We can get the average using the average function. How does it work? The average function is equal to, you type average. This average, once you open brackets, you will now put the range. And what is the range? Remember, the range is between B5 to E5. Please don't make the mistake of including the total. Then you close the bracket. This is actually the average function. You hit enter, and it gives you the average of the 4 weeks income. And you double click the auto field to get the rest. That is amazing. Did I answer the question now? Who was that asked about average? Can I, any confusion here? I hope no confusion yet. Please, let's respond. I want to see you respond. I have 20 persons in the house now, and I want to see at least 10 persons respond whenever I ask for response. That will encourage me to know people are following. I hope some of us are not sleeping on our keyboards, otherwise we will stop. Okay? I just want to have 10 persons respond now. Yes? Okay, you got it. Number two. Okay. Hey, tell at least I've heard your voice again. Okay, got it. All right. Don't forget to replay this. You will understand better. Make notes and send your offering. Your offering is the notes you made. Send to the platform so we can share from your revelations. That's just what that's the only encouragement I need from us. So that's the average. So let's go up to the maximum and the minimum. If I want to get the minimum value here, I have these values and I want to get the minimum value. It follows the same route also. Equal to mean, bracket opens, and you also put the range. And once you close the bracket and hit enter, it gives you the minimum value here, and double click here to get the rest. The same thing is applicable. You can see that the Excel functions are following the same trend. So equal to max. Remember I told you, the number one thing you must do is to remember the function name. The function name. If you say equal to maximum, Excel might not understand, but equal to max, open the bracket, then you put the range and close the bracket, and then press enter. That's the maximum, and then click on the autofill, and that gives us this. I think we've been able to answer this question once again. That's quite amazing, very interesting, very exciting. Let's take a look at this. Yes. Can somebody help us with this? Yes. This is a data set showing division, category. Okay, listen, I want to explain something here again. We have division, we have category, then we have January, February, and March. That should be the first 3 months in the year. These are the company incomes. Okay. Okay. That's okay. That the company income. Remember, I'm going to give you some exercise to do. I'm going to send it, download it from either GitHub or Google Drive, but I'm going to give you the link, get it, and then you do it. Then let's look at this. I have division here, I have category. But first of all, I want to, if this data is given to me as a data analyst, and I'm asked to analyze it, you see, analysis is very simple. We're actually analyzing this. If you give me this data, the first thing is possibly I'll get the total, I'll get the average. Then I want to know the total income in the month of January, the total income in the month of February, and the total income in the month of March. Once I'm able to provide that, I've concluded analysis in a little scale. That's just that. But before then, I always like to perform what we call exploratory data analysis. Whenever I see a data set like this, if you keep scrolling, the data might be plenty. So I want to know how many divisions. I want to know how many categories. What I do is I click into any of the cells and I go to data and eventually click on filter. And the filter appears. And once I click on the filter beside division, I can see that I have how many divisions do I have? Can somebody tell me how many divisions we have? From what you can see, how many divisions do we have? Oh, four, beautiful. Four, beautiful. Okay. And somebody said three. Look at it again. Look at it again. Look at it again. How many divisions do we have? Look at it closely. You have east. Oh, four, yes. East, north, south, and west. Okay, okay, okay. Then how many categories? Can I have how many categories? Oh, that's quite plenty of them. I'm need to scroll to see them. Okay, many of them. That's okay. Don't bother about that. At least you can see them now. Okay, let's go ahead and get the total sum. How do we get that? I can use if I want to be so fast, I can just start to say, okay, somebody is trying to suggest total cell equal to sum. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. That's okay. That's okay. Equal to sum, bracket opens, and I put the range, and I hit enter, and I click here to double click to get the rest. Otherwise, I could have clicked on the first one and go to formulas and get this, and then double click on this. If I'm not the formula person, I get that. That's another good way to do it. Then to get the average, I'll go to equal to, and I can say average. I open my bracket and I select the range and close my bracket. I hit enter, and that's the average. And I double click on this to get this. So what if I want to know the total income? Now listen very well. I want to know the total income for the month of January. Okay, thank you. Awesome, that's okay. Total income for the month of. Look at this. Look at this. Did you see this? Who can tell me what happened here? Look at that. Look at that. What happened there? That's this. What happened there? What happened there? This is what took me to Federal Polio Oko to spend 6 weeks. Exactly what you're seeing there, the hashtags. The hashtags. That's the space. Yes, Jasper, that's okay. That's the space. This all you're seeing took me to Federal Polio Oko. They were working in the bursary unit at Federal Polio Oko 2008. And this thing occurred. They were confused because they were dealing with large figures. So one of them called me on phone and I asked them, what can you see on the screen? And when they answered and I responded, they invited me to spend 6 weeks with them teaching 87 bursary units. So it's a simple thing you're saying. So don't ignore it. So what do? We come to this and expand this and it comes out. So that's simple. So, but remember what we want to do is we want to get total income for February, total income for February, total income for January 1st, for January, February, and for March. Watch this, for March. So we're getting total income now. I want to put it beside here. All right. So let's reduce this a little bit. We want to get the total income. And I want to put it here. And I can sort of highlight it a little bit and go to home, give it a little highlight so that it can be visible a little bit. Possibly come to home here also and just to draw attention to it. That's simple. So I want to total January. Then I click against January here. Now look at this. I want to get the total for the whole of January, and that begins from C2, from C2 down to C59. But then it's easy for me to access C59. What if the data spans through 20,000? Dragging this in 3 minutes, I'm not able to scroll down. So how do I access it? Look at what I'm going to show you now. If I want to highlight from C2 to the last cell, what I do is I come to the C2 where I have my first figure. I hold down my shift and control key. I hold down my shift and control key and tap my down arrow key. It just takes me down there. I don't know if anybody observed or understood what I just did now. Can you respond so I can repeat if you didn't get me? But first of all, let me repeat it before you react. I want to highlight from here down here. I'm doing it manually. This is manual. This manual. But can you imagine if I need to keep going down, because I have a lot of data or a lot of transactions, that will take a long time. So the best thing to do is to click on the first entry, the first data, the first value. Hold down my shift key and my control key. My shift key and my control key. And then hit the down arrow key. The down arrow key. It just highlights it for me. Who didn't understand? I got what you did. Please respond. I got it. I got it. Respond to me. Otherwise, I will think we are beginning to sleep. Let me see how we stop at 10:30. Okay, 2 persons. Okay. Okay. At least if I have some 5 persons respond, I will assume others are following. All right. Okay. No, so okay. Let's go ahead. Then let me do this again. What if I want to highlight? If I want to highlight the entire list, I can click on the first one, hold down my shift and control key, hit my down arrow key first, and hit the left arrow key second. It highlights the entire table for me. And the entire table has been highlighted now. That is it. You see, only the table highlighted. Let me repeat this again. I click on the first cell, hold down my shift and control key, hit my down arrow, it moves me down, and hit my right arrow key. My right arrow key, it takes me to the right. Pastor Ben, I'm not here getting your response again. Are you still here? Can I have some of us respond? There are some of us here, I'm not getting a response. Yes? Let me have your response, okay? Okay, yeah, okay. I need to get your response, okay? Right here, okay. Following, okay, let's go. Let's keep moving. I think we have a few more things to look at today. So let's get the sum. Let's get the sum for January. It's very important. Equal to, the sum for January should be equal to sum, bracket opens, range. Now, the range now, I will find it difficult to know the range because it's down. So what I do is I click on the first one, it gets registered here as C2. I then hold my shift and control key. See the reason why I thought what I just showed you now? Hold my shift and control key and move down. It captures the last one. And once it does that, I scroll up and close the brackets and hit enter. That's the total for that. Okay, still on the line. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Aha. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead. Since I've got that, I can get that of February also. In the same way, equal to sum, bracket opens, and I put it here, hold down the shift and control key, down arrow, you can see the matching ants showing I've got the highlights. I hit the enter key also. And I do the same here, equal to sum, bracket opens also for March. And that's a simple analysis. If you're working in a company, I believe you should have been able to know that this is not just, so you can get the total here, total, can get the total by getting the total of this. Highlight this and go to formula and get the sum and expand it a little bit. And that's it. That's amazing. That's amazing. And you can just come to the total and highlight it and give it a slight different color so that you can attract some kind of attention. And that's a powerful spreadsheet. That's a powerful work. You just summarized what happened in your company within a period of time. And that's amazing. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that interesting? I want to respond. That's very interesting. You know, your response is very important to me. Okay. Yes. So that is it. Very interesting, beautiful. That's okay. Let's have some of us respond more. So it is really beautiful, nice. Okay. It is. Yeah. Can you see? How many of us have gotten some new things? I've come across this before. Thanks for this. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. How many of us have got some new things? You've got some new things you never knew before. Can you respond? Say, I've got some new things. I've learned some new things today. I've learned some new things today. Okay. Okay. Oh, beautiful. All new. Wow. A lot. Awesome. Awesome. Beautiful. You know what? Some new, beautiful. You know one good thing. One good thing is that after now, you can become an Excel teacher. Excel teachers are scarce. I mean, people that know it well. Oh, awesome. People that know it well are scarce. And one of the things you must do is make your note comprehensive. Do it in a way that you can teach. So as a matter of fact, get somebody after our class here, use the person to do practice. And by the time you know it, you will be so good that when we begin to perform analysis, everything will look so simple. And you begin to ask, is this the Excel they're talking about? Is this the Power BI? Is this the Tableau? Is this the SQL they're talking about? Yeah, all this. So these are some of the things we're talking about. Okay, so let me add one or two more tools, and as we begin to summarize for the day. There's some new, beautiful. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. All right. All right. Many more are coming. Many more ahead. Many more ahead. Let's just go again to now. We've looked at this. Let's go to the round. Round. We're going to look at the round. Round is it rounds a number to a specified number of digits. The formula rounds the values in cells. Let's get to know more. Let's see more tools. The sum if. This one adds all numbers in a range that meet a specified condition. The next one we'll look at now is the count. Count, we count the number of cells that contains numbers. You can see the syntax as almost similar, equal to count, bracket opens, F1 to F10, and the rest of them. Then we have the mode and the rest of them. So let's look at them a little bit with an example that will help us a little more. Let's look at the round. I believe we have a data set with which to illustrate the round, and we begin to move on to other ones to round. Okay, now look at this data set now. Look at this data set now. You will see that we have product key, product name, product color, product cost, and product price. First of all, if you're given this to work on, if you look at this product cost, you will realize that each of them has about 4 decimal places, which is not very much okay for analysis. At least you should be able to reduce it to 2 decimal places. The same thing is applicable here. You will notice that some of them here are 2 decimal places, while some are 4 and the rest of them. That's not too healthy. So we want to round up this to possibly 2 decimal place or places. And what do? We may decide to highlight the entire column, or maybe we may have to take it this way rather. Sorry, okay. Okay, I'm going to give us this last one now. This will be the last command now, and we will continue possibly on Sunday. Now, let's round up this. How do we round up this? Let me give a column here for round. And I want to round this up. There are 2 ways to do this. One, assuming I want to return this, but have another column that rounds up this product cost, I can now say equal to round, bracket opens, and I can put the cell, comma, and 2. I'm simply telling it to round it up to 2 decimal places. To round it to 2 decimal places. And once I hit enter, you will notice that it will approximate it and round it to 2 decimal places. That is very simple. That's very simple. But what if my interest is not in creating a new column for this round? Instead, I want to edit the existing column. What I do is to highlight it, then possibly go to, I can use the shortcut here. Look at the increase decimal and decrease decimal. I can use the decrease decimal to work it out. Possibly, let me see how we highlight this entirely and decrease the decimal. So you can see the decimal has been decreased now. What did I do? Let me repeat what I did again. Undo. I only highlighted the values. Remember, I have taught you how to highlight the values. I only highlighted the values. Use the decrease or the increase. When you say increase, it increases. When you say decrease, it decreases. So you can decrease to any number of decimal place you want. And that is that. Otherwise, you can use this also. Click on this alignment setting, go to number, and when you come to number, you can now go to decimal places. Already is 2 by default, so leave it at that 2. Click OK. it will reduce to 2. That's simple. I think we will stop here for the day. Please